A very good evening to all of you and welcome to the press conference for the declaration of the fourth quarter results 2016-17 for Tata Steel Group and the annual results for 2016-17. Before I start, I want to introduce two of my colleagues whom you are familiar with. To my left is Mr. T.V. Narendran, Managing Director, Tata Steel India and Southeast Asia, and to his left is Mr. Hans Fischer, CEO of Tata Steel Europe. Let me start with the health and safety performance. I'm happy to let you know that we have achieved a 39% reduction in the lost time injury frequency rate since the financial year 2010. Though there was significant progress during the year, we have witnessed some setback between September and January. Nonetheless, as you are aware, health and safety remains to be the utmost priority across the Tata Steel Group, and our clear ambition to be the benchmark in health and safety for the steel industry. Tata Steel remains dedicated to the cause of giving back to the society, and accordingly, all across the Tata Steel Group, we strive for the betterment of the underprivileged. During the year, we managed to touch more than 1.1 million lives through our CSR initiatives, and spend almost 195 crores towards achieving the same. Our goal remains to contribute across all areas of life, including health, education, and livelihood. During the year, Tata Steel was bestowed with several awards and recognized as the industry leader in various categories during the year. We have listed a few of them for your reference, including the Prime Minister's Trophy for the best performing integrated steel plant for the year 2013-14 and the Prime Minister's Trophy for the year 2012-13. World Steel Association recognized us for setting high standard of health and safety at workplace. We were conferred with a Sustainable Manufacturing of Make in India Award at the Make in India Awards 2016 and declared as the global industry leader in the steel sector by the Dow Jones Sustainability Index assessment for the year 2016. I now move on to the performance section, talking about the global business environment, which is improving on many fronts. While the global manufacturing and steel PMIs are trending upwards and the expectations from an increased spend in infrastructure in the US is quite high, this optimism is tempered by the geopolitical tensions and the China banking sector risks. The volatility in raw material prices and currencies continue to remain as a concern. Global steel markets recovered during the fiscal year 2017, registering better than estimated production and demand growth and the recovery in steel prices from multi-year lows. This was supported by supportive growth policies in China, inflationary expectations, cost push from higher raw materials, and restocking activities. Moving on to the key financial highlights for the group. The group deliveries increased by 12.5% quarter on quarter to 6.83 million tons on the back of higher volumes in India and our European operations. India volumes at 3.21 million tons now contribute to the largest share of group deliveries. On the back of robust volume growth and supportive pricing environment, the group revenues went up by 22% sequentially and 30% year-on-year. Group EBITDA grew by 91% over sequential quarter to 6,982 crores with a margin improvement of about 720 basis points quarter-on-quarter and 1,100 basis points year-on-year to 19.8%, driven by strong performance in India and overseas. On a fiscal basis, the group EBITDA stood at 17,000 crores, supported by all-round improvement in India, Europe, and Southeast Asia. This is one of the highest EBITDA levels since 2011. Moving on to some of the strategic developments during the quarter, we implemented a transformation program to improve the underlying performance of our European business, the results of which show in the improved operating performance. This includes the divestments of our entire stake in our specialty steel business. We completed the first step in the restructuring of the British Steel Pension Scheme following the completion of the consultation process with the employees and unions of Tata Steel UK. The defined benefit scheme closed to future accruals from 1st of April 2017. Further, proposals are underway to structurally reduce risks, and changes to pension scheme are being implemented in a phased manner. A snapshot of the quarterly financial results as per Ind AS gives you a summary of the consolidated and the India performance. The quarter 4 consolidated performance, as I mentioned a while back, we had about 6.83 million tons of deliveries. Our EBITDA was 6,982, which represented about 10,228 rupees per ton of EBITDA. There were exceptional charges on account of curtailment loss that arose on account of the closure of the pension scheme from 1st of April or with effect from 31st of March. These are non-cash charges and are one-time in nature. We also had a loss on the discontinued operations on account of the sale of the specialty business, which is also non-cash in nature and one-time charge. So the reported PAT for the quarter was about 1,168 crores of loss post the restructuring and exceptional charges. The pre-exceptional PAT before these one-time non-cash charges is 3,352 crores of profit. As far as India is concerned, we had about 3.2 million tons of deliveries with a EBITDA of 4,324, which is significantly higher on a comparable basis to Q3. Our EBITDA per ton represented about 13,478 rupees per ton, higher than the previous quarter of 11,332. There was an exceptional charge of about 442 crores in the India profit and loss account, and our reported PAT for the quarter was 1,415. I now move to the quarterly financial statements across Europe, Southeast Asia. As far as Europe is concerned, I mentioned that we had a delivery of about 2.85 million tons, and our EBITDA for the quarter was 19,197.2, which represented a 6,932 rupees per ton of EBITDA performance, which is significantly higher than the previous quarter, as I mentioned. With this, I would now hand it over to Naren and request him to brief you on the India and Southeast Asia operations.
Thanks, Kaushik. As Kaushik mentioned, the global steel industry showed good signs of recovery. India remained the fastest growing major economy during FY17, and while the automotive sector continued to do well, construction and capital goods remained subdued during the quarter. However, post-demonetization, the growth momentum is gaining traction. Sorry, I think I missed that slide. Yeah. So as you can see in the slide, India registered a 6.7% growth in FY17 and remained the fastest growing economy. And as I mentioned, the automotive growth regains post-demonetization, and construction and capital goods continue to grow at a subdued rate. And we're seeing the traction picking up post-demonetization. If you look at the steel production in India, it grew at a very encouraging pace, and this has been driven by production ramp-up by major steel players, including us, and higher exports on the back of improvement in international prices and supportive reform policy. So India this year, in fact, transitioned into being a net exporter of steel as compared to a net importer of steel over the last few years. Now moving specifically into Tata Steel India, Tata Steel India deliveries grew by 18% over the last year and 7% sequentially and by 15% for the whole year, which is significantly better than the broader market. This is a testament to the strength of our business model and our focus on the relationships that we have in the marketplace, the power of our brands and the robustness of our distribution channels. Our sales to the auto segment increased by 9% over last year, and we continue to partner with our auto customers in their drive towards localization, new model launches, and this was also aided by the strong growth in the passenger vehicle segment. We continue to invest in our branded products portfolio, which has been growing strongly, and our aim is to gain a greater share of the customer's wallet. One of the high points of the last year has been the performance of the ferroalloys and ferroalloys division. It registered a sharp improvement on the back of improved market conditions. The division registered a full year operating profit of 1,165 crores, which is more than 1,000 crores higher than what it achieved in the previous fiscal. This slide represents our journey and efforts over the years towards strengthening our branded sales. We continue to work towards decommoditization of steel, and in the last year apart from the branded products, in all we've launched about 30 new products in India, most of it coming out of our new plant in Kalinganagar. The branded product sales stood at 45% of our turnover. There was a drop in FY17 as a new greenfield project at Kalinganagar is still in ramp-up phase, and some of the established brands are yet to come from there. But as you can see, over the years, we've continued to increase the share of the branded business in our portfolio. In fact, going beyond distribution and branded, I think the area we are really focusing on for the last couple of years is the services and solutions segments. We continue to have multiple solutions for the customers. It could be the individual house builder, it could be the farmer, it could be the rural markets, it could be B2G solutions. So you will see many examples of what we've developed over the last couple of years and many more to come. It's doing quite well, and we're quite optimistic about it. And going forward, I think you'll hear more of this coming from us. In the slide, you see examples of portable cabins, water ATMs, easiness solutions for urban sanitation. You will see gates and grills, Pravesh steel doors, sand wardrobes, and solar panel structures to hold up the solar panels on roofs and outside shops. So there are many more innovative products which are in the pipeline. Just a few facts that we are proud of. Tata Steel has a significant presence in many segments. We obviously focus on the segments which we think are attractive and are important to us. Just to give you a few examples, 1 out of 7 individual house builders in India use Tata Tiscon to build their homes. 3 out of 4 medium and heavy commercial vehicles in India run on chassis made out of Tata Steel hot rolled coils. 1 in 3 GC roofs in rural India, 1 in steel roofs in rural India is made out of Tata Shakti. 1 out of 2 LPG cylinders in India is made from Tata Steel hot rolled coils. 2 out of 5 carbon steel railway wagons made in India are from Tata Steel hot rolled coils. Nearly every Gillette blade worldwide contains Tata Steel chrome ore. Every fourth stainless steel utensil used in India is made of Tata Steel chrome ore. Every second two-wheeler made in India has wires for suspension springs from Tata Steel global wires. Every third borewell in India uses Tata pipes. Every third tire made in India uses Tata Steel bead wires. And every third agricultural hand tool comes from Tata Agrico product range. And every second major infrastructure project in India uses Tata Structura, a steel hollow section. So you can see that we have a very significant presence in many growing markets and many strong markets in India, and we'll continue to build on that. If I look at operational efficiencies, I think Tata Steel is traditionally focused a lot on driving operational efficiencies. And if you look at the cost of steel, one of the biggest components of cost is the cost of coal that you use and the amount of coal that you use. So you will see from these slides that we continue to bring down the coke rates in our blast furnaces. The coal accounts for maybe 40% of the cost of iron in a steel plant of hot metal. And the PCR rates are at a benchmark level as far as India is concerned, which is a pulverized coal that we inject. The specific energy consumption is also a benchmark in India. We've brought it down continuously over the years, and the CO2 emissions have also continued to come down as we bring in efficiencies in the use of energy in making the steel. If I move on to Southeast Asia, in terms of the industry performance, the demand growth in Singapore remained subdued. In Thailand, however, the recovery in the economy was encouraging on the back of supportive public investments in infrastructure and in private consumption. From a business perspective, the revenue for the Southeast Asian operations grew by 26% year-on-year to 2,275 crores on the back of improved deliveries at Tata Steel Thailand and supportive realizations. The EBITDA increased by 117% year-on-year and doubled in FY17 on better costs and spreads and reflected improved market conditions. Finally, as far as India and Southeast Asia is concerned, we continue to be positive about the sector outlook. In India, the thrust on infrastructure and affordable housing, along with the increased emphasis on buying domestic manufactured steel for government projects under the new steel policy, and the upcoming tax reforms are expected to drive growth in the Indian markets. Supportive long-term trade policy is expected to reduce exposure to global steel volatility. However, the recent slide in commodity prices certainly pose some concerns. With this, I will now hand over to Hans and request him to brief you on what's happening in Europe. Thank you.
Thank you, Naren. Starting with the industry situation. You can see in the overview where the trends are going. European steel demand increased by a healthy 3.2% in 2016. But domestic steel production fell, not least because of higher levels of imports into the European Union. Growth of the European steel-using sectors remained mixed last year. Construction and machinery continued to drag, while the automotive sector fared better. Tata Steel Europe's focus remains on developing differentiated products and services which few of our competitors are able to make. These help make our customers more competitive and provide substantial margin uplifts for us. As a proportion of our overall mix, sales of differentiated products increased from 32% to more than 37% last year. We launched a further 20 new products last year, bringing our total well over 100. They include automotive steels, which are unmatched among our European competitors. In terms of outlook, European steel demand is expected to grow by 1.3% this year, just short of economic growth forecasts. European steel mills are expected to continue to be under pressure from imports, and we expect ongoing volatility in raw material prices, which could lead to further changes in steel prices. In this context, we must continue to improve our competitive performance and focus on developing innovative products and services for our customers. Thank you.